Howdy, Timber Drifter here, out working in the shop, smoking my giant GBD prehistoric. Another one of the handful of pipes that I pulled out of my storage unit and haven't smoked for years and years. I forgot I had this pipe, totally forgot. So it's got a huge bowl on it. This is one of the smaller Bic lighters, so this is a size comparison. That bowl's larger than an inch. Really thin stem. Interesting style, I like it. The sandblast is lovely. Really picks out the grain nicely. Anyway. GLP's Cairo. I like this tobacco pretty well. I usually smoke it in a much smaller bowl. I found that it burns kind of bitter. Like, it doesn't smoke very well in this pipe. You can see the difference in bowl size there. I mean, this pipe almost fits inside that one. Totally different burning characteristics in this huge bowl. I don't know that I would be able to identify this tobacco in this pipe and a much smaller one. If you gave me both of them to smoke, I don't know that I'd say it was the same tobacco. It just tastes totally different in this bowl. Still has that little hint of bitterness, but I like it. It's really nice. And it pairs well with this Fox Barrel pear cider. I guess it's the sweetness of the pear and the coriander in here really fits well with this tobacco. It's just nice. And if you're drinking, not smoking, if you're drinking unfiltered ciders, it's a good idea to really swirl that around and shake it up and make sure you get all that sediment off the bottom, because it adds a lot to the flavor and the aroma. Normally I would drink this out of a glass, but what the hell. That is wonderful. It really tastes like pears. It's really nice. It almost even has the mouthfeel of that kind of graininess that a pear has. It's really strange. I like it. Might have to relight here. These big bowls, maybe someone has some tips. I've not smoked huge bowls like this very often, but I have a hard time keeping them lit. So I'm sure I can look around and see other people's videos, but if anyone has any ideas or tips on how to keep a huge bowl going, I'm game. Let me know. This is one of my favorite pocket knives. And this one's actually a replacement for one I lost. I'm not in the habit of losing knives, but it does happen occasionally. You have hundreds of knives, you're bound to lose one, especially if you actually carry them. But this is an old Schrade 125. They used to call it a Mustang in the catalogs. Look at that blade. Isn't that nice? It's big size. Fits my hand really well, but it's thin. Once again, I'll compare it to the lighter. I think I've still got a sheath for the one I lost laying around somewhere, or a belt pouch. But I picked this one up at a flea market last year, and this one is not as nice as the one that I had. The liners and the back spring on the blade were really rough. They had, there was probably a 1/16 of an inch difference between the back spring and the liners. I mean, it was kind of rough on the thumb. So I smoothed that all up and made it one plane and polished it up nicely. Polished the blade a bit. Someone had touched it up on a belt sander, and I couldn't really get those scratches out without a whole lot of work, and it functions well and it's very sharp, so I'm not real concerned about it. Plus, I kind of like a blade that's been used a bit, Kind of like I like a pipe that's been used a bit. But I smoothed it up nicely. It's just slick. Hear that pop? Isn't that nice? That's the other thing I've been working on. It's an old Plum broad hatchet blade. There you can see the name. Just putting this handle in there. Not all the way there yet, but I'm fitting it nicely so there's no gaps around here, so it won't loosen up. So that's what I'm working on. I look forward to sharpening this thing up and using it. It's hard to find these that aren't all torn up. As you can see, this one even has a few little nicks in the edge, but I'll be able to clean that up nicely. Yeah. I've been looking for a good broad hatchet for a lot of years. I've had a few, but they were just really worn out or just very beat up. People use these to split wood for some reason. They knock it into a piece of wood and then they hit this with something else, another axe or a sledgehammer, and bust huge chips off of there and break it. I've even seen a few that are just cracked right across the eye from being hit with an axe or a hammer or something. That's not what they're for. Anyway, beautiful tool, good lines, and I've shaped the handle so that it really fits the hand well. It'll be nice to use. And a friend of mine has just started his own radio program on the local NPR station, and I'm listening to it. He's playing some pretty wild stuff. Oh, yeah, just another enjoyable day in the shop. Hope you're enjoying your day.